So I was on my online fish forum the other day and I saw some people talking back and forth about to what extent can you change the water in your fish tank without harming your fish. And the conversation was so wrapped up in dogmatic thinking that I thought I gotta post a video on it. And I know I'm probably going to get lots of dislikes and hates, but the purpose of my channel is for me to try to help and educate people and kind of elucidate some of the logic and the science behind water changes. So this is me doing about an 80% water change in my Tropheus tank. And I do at least 80% in all my tanks. And the reason why I do that, I'll talk about later on in the video, but I want people to say before they give up on me that in order to do huge water changes, you have to be in certain conditions. So to help explain this whole thing, I printed off this wicked chart, and it shows a lot of the key aspects of water chemistry. And the ones that we really need to focus on if we're doing massive water changes have this cute arrow beside them. The first thing is temperature. Fish are ectotherms, which means they don't produce their own heat. They require heat from their environment to stay at the appropriate temperature. They're also called poikilotherms. I always have a hard time pronouncing that. And that means that they can operate within a range of appropriate range of temperatures, whereas humans, we're not. As soon as our core temperature goes off of 37 degrees C, we're in big trouble. So of course, you need to maintain the same temperature going in as you do coming out. If you have huge shifts in temperature, you can stress the fish out, which makes them more susceptible to disease, or you could kill them. The next thing is salinity. Some people with freshwater aquariums want to add salt. I don't. I have read lots of papers that describe benefits and lack of benefits, so I don't. But if you do, you want to make sure that the salinity doesn't change. The next thing is the pH. Again, fish, it takes a long time for a fish to change its biochemistry to adapt to changes in pHs. So if we have a pH in our tank of 7 and we do an 80% water change of pH 8, that is a huge shift, and that could really hurt or kill your fish. And so if you're the type of fish keeper that does not mess with their pH, for example, I don't, then you can do massive water changes because hopefully the water coming in and out, it's the same. If you're adding CO2 or you're adding Excel or other chemicals that change the pH, you got to be really careful about it. But if you don't do any of that stuff, you should be good to go to do big water changes. The other thing is the general hardness or the carbonate hardness. That's another thing that you kind of need to watch out for. But this is hard to change unless you're adding or subtracting things. For carbonate hardness, if you have soft water from the tap and you have substrates or rocks in your tank that have a lot of calcium in them, you can actually change the hardness. And so as long as your hardness going in and out is close, your fish should be okay. So if all these things are the same, of the water going in and going out, you can do massive water changes and your fish are going to love it. Obviously, nitrates, this is the limiting factor for any aquarium system. And so as these build up, that's ultimately why we need to do water changes in a cycled aquarium. But people don't realize that other harmful chemicals can build up, i.e. phosphates and other trace elements, and doing water changes is super awesome for your fish. The other myth is that the bacteria, the nitrifying bacteria, is somehow in the water. It's completely asinine and not true. they need those biofilms that they build. They need to live on something. They literally live on glass, rocks, sand, plants. They do not live in the water column. Transiently, you'll have 0.0001% or something. You can find the bacteria in there, but that's not where they live. That's not where they habitate. So if you're somebody that does not mess with your water chemistry and you do water in, water out, you are good to go to do massive water changes. And as long as you leave enough water for the fish to comfortably swim, it's been my experience that they don't get stressed out. I think that they love huge water changes. Like my rainbows, they just, after a huge water change, they are just swimming around. I mean, it's a pretty objective observation, but their color pops and they visibly look better to me. And these are sensitive fish. They don't handle crappy water conditions that well. But as you saw at the start of the video, my Tropheus and my Pseudotropheus, they love huge water changes as well. And I also have Synodontis petricolas in there, which are scaleless fish, and they're even more susceptible to changes in chemistry because they don't have that outer layer of harder scales to help them resist things. So their bodies are a lot more, for lack of a better term, porous. They don't mind it at all. My Synodontis petricolas breed all the time. So it's something you guys need to consider, because the statement, the blanket statement of saying, oh yeah, massive water changes are fine, go ahead and do it. You can't say that. You have to have all these conditions, or else you could really hurt or kill your fish. My last point is on the discus. Do you know anybody that keeps discus, or use somebody that keeps them? They are the hardest fish, in my opinion, in the freshwater hobby to keep, because they are so sensitive to water chemistry and other things like internal parasites. But people who keep discus, they have to do massive water changes every single week. One buddy of mine that's a discus breeder here in town, he does like 80% water changes every 3 or 4 days or something. It's crazy. But he's also dropping the pH down too, to keep to Amazonian conditions. The guy's a mad scientist. But the point is that you can do large water changes to keep your fish happy and healthy. It's not impossible, but you just have to do the things we just talked about in the video. So don't let anybody tell you that massive water changes are bad. You just need to be smart about it, and you need to control your variables. I hope this video has helped. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.